Hey guys, this is Heat. We are back making videos for Race for World Last content. Um, I am going to do three separate videos for the three phases of Demi. This will be phase one, and we're just going to go over nothing hopefully too in depth if my brain will stop me from doing it. More so just helpful tips and tricks in our prog and in our farm that I think would help everyone kill the raid boss faster. In my opinion, the biggest help is going to be in the phase two in the second video over everything else. But there are definitely some things in phase one that if you and your entire raid team watch this will hopefully give you guys a lot of help in killing the boss faster. So first things first, war on WoW utils. So make sure you have everything set. Make sure you are assigning the most accountable, the people that you trust the most to be picking up orbs, people who make the least amount of mechanical mistakes. The people that make the least amount of silly mistakes are the people that I would make sure that you are assigning here. The long-term thing has always been assigning healers here. You don't have to. The downside of not assigning healers to pick up orbs is you can get combinations where both your healers get orbs, in which case you have no healing until you get them back down. So that's the risky play. But if you want your healers to just focus on healing, if they're not, some of your best players, then I would definitely put, range DPS here. There is no damage check in phase one anymore, so you don't have to worry about that. It's very subjective. It's doing healers is still the best thing to do. It's what we did in our prog, so we just can continue to do it. Same thing for right side. Make sure everyone knows what side they're going on. You don't want to lose wipes because you have 12 people going on left and 8 people going on right, and you get 10, 15, 20 pulls in, over half your raid night, and we have 2 people going on the wrong side the entire time. You want to make sure everything is super organized and everyone knows where they're going so that all those silly things just are not even going to be a thing that's going to slow down your prog. Again, phase 2 stuff here, we'll just cover it since it's the first video. Just make sure you assign the people that you trust the most. Tanks take the center, this middle, and this middle one. The only thing that I would recommend for you is if you have 2 DKs and one is a blood DK, you do not have them soak this because it's going to make gripping the null binders in really, really awkward that they have to soak one of these circles, plus get the grips of their null binders in. So 2 DKs, one of which is the blood DK, you're going to have to fill one of these tank slots with another healer or another ranged DPS. In my opinion, what I would do is people that have a lot of defensives, so mages, hunters, any super survivable ranged DPS and healer classes, you want them to take the first soak here. I know Ellie Shaman is a super survivable. We've done this many times. This is just what we did on our last re-clear. And I would put them on the first one. The reason why is it's going to leave a 1-minute dot on them, and you don't want them to take all of that extra damage for a long period of time and not have defensive usages that they need to have when it comes to the gravities and when it comes to the winds. That's my only recommendation with that. CC's pretty simple. Make sure you're, melee heavy group, healer heavy group, range heavy group. You really don't want to do anything where you're going to extend and put people who should be in the range group into the melee group. I feel like you can do that a little bit more into the healer group. As we get closer to Raid to World Last, your comp may not be an ideal 6 or 7 melee, 6 or 7 ranged, and you need to put people in other spots. Do what you have to do. If you are in that situation, what I would tell you is your best melee player that you trust the most, or your best range player that you trust the most, put them in the healer soak. And that way, if they get the range circle, they are your most reliable player, so they will call an audible and go put the circle where it needs to go. Same thing with the melee player. And then I chose to put the tanks in the healer soak, just because our melee and range circles were already congested. When we progged, we had 7 melee and 7 ranged, and I didn't want to add 2 more people, even though they can stand on top of each other. Which it brings me to the next part. Make sure your tanks stand on top of each other when it comes to the circles, regardless of what circle you put them in. And then make sure you emphasize to all of your players that standing in the center of the circle is banned, so that you're not killing the person who actually gets the circle debuff with it. And then Devour, make sure everyone knows what stars they have. When we get to the phase 3 video, we'll talk about how we decide what star is what number when we get there, but let's just go and start with phase 1. So how our phase 1 is going to work is I'm on the right side. We're just going to nuke down these adds. We have it assigned so that I'm picking up this left one, I think it's picking up this right one, and then we've constantly changed with like how our farmer's gone with who picks up this rear one, but someone's going to go pick up our rogue does. And now we're just back in center, and we are cruising. Split up to your sides. This knockback, the positioning of the tank here is super important. And we're going to go over the raid plan just very briefly so that we can go over this. The knockback spot is very important because you want your raid teams to land right about here. For the people that aren't like flying people that, aren't a DK. I'm a DK, so you're not going to see it really in this video probably unless I make a disadvanced mistake. But yeah, you want people to land right here because you're going to be putting puddles all along here and all along here, but you're never putting a puddle right here. You're always keeping this spot safe. And if there's one thing to tell your people when they're dropping puddles is, and maybe even put a marker here to start your prog, is just like this spot is always going to be kept open. We are never dropping a puddle here, no matter what. And then I'll put this raid plan in, so if you want to copy it, you can. This is what first drops are going to look like. This is soaking a star. The biggest thing with soaking a star is when these masses die. What you don't want to do is if these masses are dying slowly, which should be the priority in phase 1, whenever these are up, you should have every single person be hard swapping to these just to make your phase 1 life easy. And by doing that, you have so much damage now, assuming your raid team is fully kitted out, that you can put your hard assigned people to stand on them so that when they die, they never are going to get gravities, and you don't have to worry about the thing that a lot of raid teams had to worry about, where let's say this mass is still alive, it hasn't died yet, and Thias knows he's grabbing this one as the first melee orb, and as it dies and the orb becomes able to get picked up now, he's running to go grab it, and as he picks it up, in that split second, he also gets gravity, but now he has the orb, and you need 2 people and then 4 people with orbs to drag people down, and now it's just automatically a wipe. You could prevent a lot of that by doing one of 2 things: nuking them, killing them immediately, and having the people who are hard assigned to pick them up first, in which case they're healers, just stand on top of them, even if the star needs to be soaked, so that they can pick up the orbs immediately and they never have to worry about getting gravity. This might take a few pulls as people get more used to the fight and doing their damage, but that's what I would do. The second thing you would do is the exact opposite. The second thing you can do is the exact opposite. No one picks up the orbs until all of the gravities have been assigned. There's only one downside of doing it this way. This is me. Let's say things are dying. I'm assigned to pick up this melee one. And I'm soaking the star. They die. And now it's like, oh, I got reverse gravity. So now I need to come out here to do my reverse gravity. And I accidentally walk over this orb going out my reverse gravity. If you have the damage to do it the first way I said, so that your assigned people can stand on them when the orbs become available, that is the better way to do it, in my opinion. If you don't, it's going to take a little bit more pulls to get everyone to be super patient and understand the flow of the fight so that those accidental orb pickups as your gravity people are running out do not happen. Again, but the point of these videos is going to be as simple as possible and as consistent as possible so that you guys can see the same thing over and over and over again and therefore kill the boss faster. What we decided to do with these gravities is actually do it something like this on the first ones. So this right side will show what we do on the odd number ones. We put it to the right of the marker, and then on this side it would be to the left of the marker. And then on the even ones, we would put them on the marker. And the reason we did that was just the positioning of where the masses are when it's a odd gravity versus an even gravity. Made it easier for our prog not accidentally picking up orbs to do it that way, but you do whatever you need to do. Real quick, this is second drops. And then we're going to go into third drops. And third drops is probably the only one you're going to get. Fourth drops exist. Sorry, this should say fourth drops. If your DPS is slow, But quite honestly, if you are doing this slow as possible, you should be pushing before the 4th drops happen, which is like almost 3 minutes into the fight. So let's go back to the phase 1 video. So we're gonna get knocked. I have disadvantage. I'm not going anywhere. I'm immediately swapping to this mass. Again, there's no DPS check in phase 1. Just kill the ads. Make sure you drop your puddles correctly. Make sure you know as a player and your players are aware where they are dropping at, and make sure you emphasize consistent drop spots. The biggest thing that you absolutely cannot do when we start dropping puddles is where these warlock gates are. You absolutely cannot drop a puddle where those warlock gates are. So now we're sucking down gravities, and I'll take a step back so people can see this. So both of ours are at 0%. We're waiting for the other side to finish them off. Now they're dead, and as they died, the reverse gravity circles came out. And that's why I'm saying, if you have all of your DPS fully tunneling these guys, you can have Thias, for example. He's one of the people that's assigned to grab first here, but he got the reverse gravity circle. If he was standing on top of these, he would have gotten this reverse gravity and also picked up the orb, and now we're just wiping. There is no way to save the pull. And we're not fully focusing them anymore because it's like our 9th kill or something now. If you have your DPS fully focus them until they all die, you should more than likely not have this happen. I could be wrong about that. You know your DPS better than me, but ideally you don't let that happen. But because Thias got the circle now, his main thing is he cannot walk over either of these circles as he goes and sets up his reverse gravity. And this is why on the first reverse gravities, on the odd ones, we are to the right of where our marker normally would be. We don't put it down anymore, so that they don't have any way that they could accidentally run over this rear orb. This is double suckdowns. Get them down, and now we're setting up for the next knock. Lots of downtime in this phase. Lots of, hey, things happen fast, and there's nothing for like 10 seconds. Things happen fast, and then there's nothing for 10 seconds again. This is the fastest drops of the phase. As soon as these ads spawn, you need to get in position. It's not like the first one where you can go hit the ads for a little while, and it's not going to be like the last one where you can hit the ads for a long time before the puddles happen. We're getting in this circle, soaking. Now, again, circles are out, orbs just became available, and we go to where the marker normally is because we don't want this rear person to run through this orb accidentally going to the short side. We want them to go a little bit further so there is no way that they can accidentally run into the orb. Helps that they're a mage so they can just blink away, but that's the thought process. I use 90 seconds here. I don't like talking about personal CD usage in these videos, but it is semi-relevant to making sure you kill this boss for the first time. Rogues, DKs, any other 90-second people, I would not, for your first kill, tell you to use 90 seconds here. I would save it for the platforms, and when we get to the Phase 2 videos, hopefully I will mention why. But it's your first kill. You want to be doing things in a way so that your prog is going to be consistent. You should be constantly worried about, like, we don't need any damage in Phase 1. We want to push that damage to be in the parts of the fight where we're definitely going to need it. And you're definitely going to need it as you progress the Platform 1, as you progress Platform 2, and as you progress Phase 3, right? So start pulling CDs back more and more from the places you don't need them so that you can ensure that you have them where you are going to need them to help make your prog work consistent. The number one mistake that a lot of teams and individuals make when they progress is they do CDs as if they're going to kill the boss. You know you're not going to kill the boss for a while, and until you start getting into kill range, you should be constantly adjusting how you're using your CDs and how you're doing your damage so that you can kill the things that you need to kill so that you can progress and see more of the fight faster. That's a philosophy of a lot of players that have played the game for a long time. This is a fast knock. I'll go over this Devour real quick. This Devour, this is 4 orbs to get everyone down. Everybody should be using a defensive here. Every single person. This is the most highest damage take of Phase 1 for the entire raid. Everybody needs to use a defensive here. As long as if you have a 6-second defensive and you have a Resto Shaman, which is what we have always used, as long as you're using a defensive right here, you will mitigate the entirety of the Devour damage, you'll mitigate a lot of the natural dot that the just AoE ticking damage the boss does. It's not a dot, and keep yourself more survivable so that as you're in transit from the start of the gate to the end of the gate, you have no chance to die. On our prog, a lot of people died as they were gating across. Like in that 1/2 a second, whatever it is, they would die in just that time alone. And as soon as we made it mandatory that everyone has to use a defensive here, things got a lot better for us. SLT is king. If you don't have SLT, use Darkness, use AMZ. And this will be the last knock for us here. Again, see where people are landing. Even a Shadow Priest that has 0 mobility, he's landing not in a zone because we're keeping this spot constantly open. And now we are just going to maybe kill our last ads or push boss, one of the two. Looks like other side's not killing their masses, so we're just pushing boss here. And that's the end of phase 1. So again, the biggest things I would tell you, make sure people have defensive planned out. The puddle drops do a lot of damage. Standing in those puddles for even 1 second does a lot of damage. Do not do that. Making sure you're keeping the spot where people are landing on the knockback clear the entire time. Put a lot of emphasis into the reverse gravities and who's picking up the orb and how they're picking up the orb. I think the fastest way to learn phase 1 right now is if you can have how the orbs are getting picked up and who they're getting picked up by, and keep that consistent, then things are going to go really well for you, and you're going to be able to get through this phase and prog through it really fast. The last note that I'll add about the orbs is there is an assignment week war that I'm sure Northern Sky has, but we use Liquid, and the biggest thing is it's going to tell you front or back for picking up an orb. What we found super helpful is it assigns those things when the ads spawn, and if you get assigned a gravity, then obviously you're no longer assigned to pick up an orb. And what I would recommend to you is, as a raid leader, if you're the one listening to this video, that you keep comms clear in those times so that your players can communicate to one another that they need a backup on rear, they need a backup on front, whatever it might be. It's going to save you a lot of wipes, especially later in phase 1, just because it's being audibly made clear to your entire raid team, hey, I was assigned front, I am no longer assigned front. My backup person should have got notification that they are now picking up the front orb, and you're just, giving a loop of communication so that everyone knows who's responsible for what. Anyways, that's going to do it for phase 1. The phase 2 videos will be out soon as well. Just follow, whatever. Happy to answer any questions. And also, I have characters that are almost max geared that I do have available to help people in a race to world last. It's mostly just DPS characters, but my information will be in the videos. You can find me on Discord, and if you need any help, just get a hold of me. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.